Hey, what's happening guys? This is Shukesh once again, and today I have for you both Redmi Y1 and Redmi Y1 Lite by Xiaomi. This is a new Redmi series which sits just in between Redmi 4 and Redmi Note 4, and I think the emphasis is mostly on the multimedia, especially Y1 features a front-facing 16 megapixel camera with soft-toned LED flash and 36 smart beauty profiles. Though Redmi 4 is a great smartphone, the screen size is small, so there you have Redmi Y1 Lite with a 5.5-inch display. There are some compromise or adjustments Xiaomi had to do. I will talk more about that. Let's quickly unbox and show you the box contents. There you go, the all new Redmi Y1 and Y1 Lite. Well, they look exactly the same except for the front facing LED flash. Both these smartphones share the same casing with the same sized and same resolution display. The height and width of the phones are same. Well, the camera lens of Y1 is actually slightly bigger, and of course you have the front LED flash. The back side is also identical. They share the same camera lens as well. The bottom, the sides, everything is exactly the same. So despite having 2 to 4,000 rupees price difference, which is more than 50% of the price of Y1 Lite, you are getting the same look and feel. Before I talk more about the differences, let's quickly check the contents, which will be the same of course. You are getting some paperworks, and well, looks like something is missing. There is a small compartment which should be for the headphones, but as you know, Xiaomi doesn't provide headphones or earphones. There you have the power adapter, which is rated 5 volt 2 ampere, that is 10 watt for the Y1, and 5 volt 1 ampere for the Y1 Lite. So this is one of the significant differences in between these two smartphones. Interestingly, they share the same battery, 3080 mAh lithium ion, so the charging time for the Y1 Lite will be considerably longer. Now there is nothing else inside the box, so let's get rid of these things here and have a quick look at the devices. Now, one of the few subtle differences in between these two smartphones is Y1 feature a 2.5D glass. Otherwise, everything is same. Y1 Lite is actually slightly slimmer at 7.55mm, whereas Y1 is at 7.7mm. Y1 Lite is also 3 gram lighter. There is of course a fingerprint sensor at the back of Y1. The CPU and GPU are also different. Let's quickly power on the devices and give you a quick tour of the exterior design and ports. First of all, the display is 5.5 inch with 720p resolution, that is pixel per inch is 267. There is Corning Gorilla Glass, and so far I know it's IPS LCD. Now the front camera of Y1 is 16 megapixel with Full HD recording. The maximum aperture is f2.0, and there is also soft-toned LED flash with 36 beauty profiles. Y1 Lite feature a 5 megapixel front camera with the same aperture and 720p video recording. Both cameras are fixed focus, though autofocus would have been really nice since Y1 is a camera centric phone. At the bottom you have the loudspeaker and the OTG enabled micro USB port, not Type-C. This is the microphone, and as you can tell, the design is very similar to Redmi Note 4, but this time you have got a dedicated micro SD card slot. I've been complaining about the hybrid slot of Redmi Note 4 and Redmi 4 for years. This time Xiaomi ultimately got this right. You have got one SD card slot and two nano SIM card slots. As you know, Redmi Note 4 feature one nano and one micro SIM slot, which is also quite annoying. So this is one of the few reasons you can go for the Redmi Y1 instead of Redmi Note 4. Since the internal storage of Y1 Lite is just 16GB, I can still recommend this phone to you guys since the SD card slot is dedicated and it's expandable up to 128GB. The rear cameras are 13 megapixel with face detection autofocus and Full HD recording. The maximum aperture is f2.2. There is an LED flash, and as you can see, the band is black on the Y1 and it's white on the Y1 Lite. At the top you have the 3.5mm headphone jack along with the IR sensor for using this phone as a TV remote. There is a secondary microphone for noise cancellation as well. There you have the volume rocker and the power key. There you go, the devices are ready. Let's first have a quick look at the displays, which are 720p. As you know, Redmi Note 4 feature a Full HD resolution display with 401 ppi. If you look closely, you can actually see the pixels, but of course this is not going to bother you at all since it's a big display. Now the trade-off here is Redmi 4 and Y1 feature the same CPU and GPU, but you have a bigger display with the same resolution, and of course the front camera is much better, so Y1 is a much better choice than Redmi 4. The battery of Redmi 4 is though 4100 mAh. My experience with the Redmi 4's battery is actually not that good. The Android versions out of the box is 7.1.2, so that's not bad. The CPU and GPU are different as you can see, but before that the MIUI version is still 8.5, though MIUI 9 is on the way. You will get the update within this month. And Y1 feature an octa-core 1.4 GHz Snapdragon 435, whereas you have quad-core 1.4 GHz Snapdragon 425. The RAM is 3GB or 4GB on the Y1, and you have 2GB RAM on the Y1 Lite. The storage is 16GB, and you have 32GB and 64GB versions of Redmi Y1. If your budget is 7,000 rupees, if you don't mind the smaller display, then you can go for the Redmi 4 instead of Y1 Lite. The cameras will be more or less same, but the processor will be much faster. Now in between Y1 and Y1 Lite, I would definitely suggest you to just spend 2000 rupees more and get Redmi Y1, because the camera is much better at the front and you have a much better processor, 2.5D glass, which looks quite nice, and storage and RAM are much more, especially 3GB RAM is necessary for hardcore gaming. The internal storage is more or less 8GB on the Y1 Lite, so definitely just pay 2000 rupees more and get the Redmi Y1. And also don't forget the fingerprint sensor at the back and the fast 10-watt charger. I think Y1 Lite won't be as much popular as Y1 or Redmi 4, but what about Redmi Note 4? You get Redmi Note 4 at just 1000 rupees extra, and for the 3GB RAM variant you need to pay 2000 rupees more. First of all, you get a Full HD resolution IPS LCD which looks considerably sharper if you look very closely, and the most important fact is you have a 4100 mAh battery on the Redmi Note 4, and though it's same as Redmi 4, it's actually much better, best in class. It's almost as good as the 5000 mAh battery on the Moto E4 Plus. So if you are a heavy user, you might not be as satisfied as the Redmi Note 4. Because of the bigger battery, it feels bulkier and slightly thicker, but I really don't mind that, considering the battery backup of the Redmi Note 4 is the best I have ever experienced in a smartphone like this. Now as far as the processor speed and the UI is concerned, let's quickly launch the Antutu benchmark and let's check the Y1 Lite as well. I think you know that the specs of Y1 Lite is actually very similar to Redmi 4A, which is 1000 rupees cheaper, and you also get 3GB of RAM and 32GB of storage. So if you can live with a slightly smaller display, better get Redmi 4A and save 1000 rupees, get more storage. As you can see, the Antutu score of Redmi Y1 is 45,564, which is considerably lower than 60,117 on the Redmi Note 4. So if you're into gaming, definitely go for the Redmi Note 4. Snapdragon 625 with octa-core 2 GHz processor is more capable. Y1 Lite on the other hand is far behind at 36,214. With the 2GB RAM, Y1 Lite might not be a great choice for gaming, but for multimedia it will be not bad. But still, Redmi 4A comes with 3GB RAM, and I think Xiaomi should have included the same amount of RAM and storage. Now the big question is the new front camera of Y1 is worth the hype, or you should go for the Redmi Note 4? Well, it's actually quite good, it's much better than Redmi Note 4, but still it's not as good as I thought. I will make a dedicated comparison in between these two smartphones, comparing the cameras and the speed, so stay tuned for that. One thing I can tell you, if you are not into selfie, Redmi Note 4 is still a better choice. Redmi Y1 is an all-in-one versatile phone. I have never liked the camera of Redmi Note 4, especially the front camera, so the camera department is better on this smartphone. The gaming performance won't be bad at all. I mean, Redmi 4 is a great gaming smartphone, and in addition to that, there is dedicated SD card slot, and of course the Android version is almost latest. MIUI 9 is also on the way with more features, and I've tested the loudspeaker on this phone, which is actually quite loud. I think it's louder than Redmi Note 4 or Redmi 4. Guys, we are at the end of this unboxing and hands-on of Redmi Y1 and Redmi Y1 Lite. Overall, I think Redmi Y1 is a promising multimedia smartphone for just 9,000 and 11,000 rupees. It's an all-in-one smartphone with perfect pricing. Now regarding Y1 Lite, well, I think Redmi 4, even Redmi 4A are better choice. But if you badly need a 5.5-inch screen, then Y1 Lite might not be a bad choice. Along with Redmi 4A and 4, there is Redmi Note 4 you should consider. So it's really very confusing. Only a Xiaomi smartphone can beat a Xiaomi phone. Yesterday, 150,000 Y1 devices were sold in just 3 minutes. Check the description below if you want to buy this Y1 or Y1 Lite. I will drop the links in the description below. This is Shukesh signing off. Have a nice day, guys. If you liked the review, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button.